Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of awesome action, especially live action on Thursdays, as you will know. It is Thursday. We are talking about the next four episodes 17 through 20 of um, Robot Dokeji K, or Robot Dokeji, Robot Detective. And these are some pretty good ones. We get a little mystery here. There's something that does happen later on, but nothing yet. But we've only got after this episode, there's six episodes left. I may divide it into three episodes each for the next 2 weeks. We'll see. Anyway, be that as it may, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this show. And if you can, watch just a couple minutes longer than normal. You do want to see what's going on with Mother, don't you? All right. Come on, Kay, let's roll. All right, let's hear a little of the song, all right? 叫ぶサイレンライトは回る事件だジョーカー The Flying Patrol Car. So we start out with a bang here with this episode 17. And when it says evil foam, they ain't kidding. Because look at these two kids, and that's the bad robot of the week. He sprays foam on them, and he sprays foam on that bus. And the girls, I think this is the older one, Nami, sees what happened, and they vanish. They get disintegrated. Kids. Now, that's highly unusual to see kids get essentially murdered in a television show. So we're still a little dark here, though they have, once again, progressed, and as we'll see by episode 20, 19 and 20. But yeah, I thought, okay, they just like melted, them through the ground and into their workforce or something. Nope, they never come back. No one comes back from this. Yeah, a busload full of kids has gone missing, and they don't really, these are some hard-boiled detectives that don't really care. But she was getting a little bit softer toward Kay, but not so much for Shinjo because he calls him a numbskull. That just makes me laugh. And then Bad shows up because they're trying to. There's our robot Digman with that's why he looks like a mole, and he wants these the Bad wants the bank robbers to help them, and now these kids. So here's our kid of the week there, and he sees what's going on here. That the guards are getting foamed, and the kid tells him what's going on. Brave enough, but the fight begins. There's 3 fights now for all of these episodes. 3 fights per episode. Sometimes they go on a little too long without some some cutaways, and you're like, okay, just finish it. And I never thought I'd say that, but it's true. So he thinks it'll work, but Kay's got jet showers nozzles in his hands, and it washes off the foam, and Digman can't deal with that. So, but this is the extent of the lamentation about the children and the people. Those poor kids. There's the kid. I like the fact that Digman called him a cretin. I learned that word from, I want to say, Marvel Team Up number 4, where the Basilisk gets the introduction of the villain, the Basilisk. Might have been later now, but it was with Marvel's Captain Marvel from the Kree, not the Carol Danvers Ms. Marvel, Warbird, Binary, whatever you want to call her. The Marvel's original Captain Marvel. Not the big red cheese. But see, there's his shower hands. And now the fight begins. I like to bring it. Someone was watching The Rock a little too much. And the fight goes on, and he's cheering, and then the fight goes on a little more, but kids just watching him instead of getting away. It's supposed to be dangerous because he could get foamed. So in this shot, you can actually see the rods that are in the feet of Digman propelling him into the ground. But he's got a tracker on him, And underground scenes, the burrowing scenes, they're really hard to do in film. I mean, and even with today's technology, it's just hard to do. Look at the Ultraman had far higher budget for the Goldown episode, and it only looks marginally better than this. Calls him a perp, so they're still planning on them. But Shinjo shows up, and they're ready with hoses. And another fight. He captures the bad guy, at least one of the bad guys. Kay uses a bomb of some kind to explode outwards and force Digman up, and off they go. And fighting in the water, which Digman can't use his foam if he's wet. And that's it. He just blows him up. So that was a pretty quick little episode. Well done. And now we're going to episode 17. There's Bad's Freeze Man, who goes around killing people, but the older brother there saves his younger brother. Bad's freezing operation. Yeah, the kid's the only one who's still breathing. So someone has contracted Bad to kill these people. And there's the grandfather and his very much younger wife, and he's a philanthropist. And Bad's Freeze Man shows up. He looks weird. He's no Captain Cold or Mr. Freeze or the Icicle or Iceman or Killer Frost. Boy, DC sure has a lot of ice themes there. Marvel doesn't have nearly as many, do they? Fight begins again. And he tries to freeze Kay, but it doesn't work. See, just more fights. There's just plenty of fights now, which is not a bad thing. It's just a little excessive. You have no idea how many I cut up the pictures. There's his tracker he puts on, but that doesn't work. Okay, Shinjo's suspicious now of his mom, but he puts it on a teddy bear, so fooled him. So he's now he kills the grandpa, and Shiba's yelling at both of them. At least he's an equal opportunity yeller. They find her, and dun dun dun, which is true. So Freezeman shows up to kill the kid, but now Kay has a flamethrower in his arm, which stops Freezeman. So here's an interesting shot where usually you have the henchman and the henchman for the bad guy fighting the lone hero. This time you have the police with Kay fighting the lone villain. So that was a nice little introversion. But now she's having second thoughts. Don't kill Hiroshi. It's like she wanted the fortune. And once again, it's a good thing that Kay has that flamethrower now, because the water really wouldn't work this time. She gets arrested and see more posing and jumping flying through the air. And I wish that nicer if I'd had the DVDs or something. But low res uploads just to watch. But there's a nice stunt where he throws him down the side of a mountain and kicks him and blows him up. And then, there's Mother. And now we're on to episode 19. This is a two-parter. These guys are running away from the Red Bamboo. I mean, the Club Zero or somebody. We'll find out here in a moment. But they all get wiped out except this guy who does get shot. And they're the bad agents. So pursue the mystery to the... So this is... they are going on location to Okinawa. So as we'll see, Kay sees a floating robot. And there's our first female bad agent named Lynn. And the kids find it. And so Q1. There's a reason for that. There's where we find out her name. And this guy here is somebody. Now, I wasn't able to find out who he was, but he's got martial arts ability as well. And he's a good actor. He's the guy that escaped. She tries to stab it. Lynn shows up trying to stab him, poison him, and off they go. And now we see Goraiman, probably. But look at that. He's got a bad symbol right on his face. He's her bodyguard, and the fight begins, and he's tough. So it's a pretty even fight. And now there's this. They're on a ship here with Coca-Cola and a bunch of other things. Product placement at its best. Actually, they're not on the ship. I don't know where they are. Sorry about that. But if he gets it, he's a propeller man essentially, or torpedo man. He's got a torpedo belt that absorbs. He just leaves. He just puts K in an easily escapable death trap underwater and leaves him. Off he goes. And they don't know. So now they're on the ship. And Kay calls out for mother. She zaps him and then does this. And so there's a mystery. Something's pestering mother. Can't have that, can we? But he's look at his he's got an answering machine in his car. 15 minute for Phillips. Boy, that brings back memories. I mean, I had one in the 90s. There's the ship. You've got an old school arcade. These kids are still, I mean, they talk about video games and phones now, keeping kids inside. They're on a ship and they're playing video games. Probably. Pinball, anyway. And that rhymes with trouble. Starts with T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pinball. And there more balloons are being dropped, and now we find out the gist of the thing. That they're planning you're going to explode an H bomb over Tokyo, which would be really really bad. There's Lynn apparently and looking pretty fetching, though really skinny in that in the way that the towel is on her. He tells Shinjo to get closer, and he's like, "Darn, I think I'll do that. I'm for that." Because she throws him around like he was a rag doll. So she's got some ability. I don't know how much training she had, but he's got the ability to make her to sell for her and make her look good. But they surround her and capture her, and then Torpedo Man, because that's what I'm calling him, shows up, and off they go. Here's a nice shot where he throws his hat in the air and his coat in the air. It's the first time they've done that. Destructo gun, and then he blows him up. Once again, pretty simple ending. She wants to fight him, but so she gets away. Well, tries to, because they've caught her, but then she gets away because Karate Man, who has unagi, and he's always aware, shows up, and so we're still got the H bomb, the bad plan here. Got a brief recap, and now for episode 20, right? Am I right? So Sheba tells him to forget about the robot and go after, find the hideout. Off he goes, and they all get away from him. So while he's a powerful robot, he's not fast. So each robot has their individual weaknesses, which is good. They shouldn't be all powerful. So yeah, that's a good objective there, Sheba. Off they go, and this guy shows up. They were tracking him, but they cut off the signal. Secret Society, zero. So zero club for zero growth, whatever you want to call it, zero. And I believe that's an actual Caucasian, one of the gaijin actors that was over there. I couldn't find out who. And I don't want to pester August with all sorts of dumb questions. There's our blimp, which really looks like a big banana, doesn't it? And now the reason is blackmail. They want, let's see, 1 million, 1 billion, $1 trillion from the Japanese government. Throw him a freaking bone. So dad's alive, and he tells the kid to rescue him, and off he goes. He follows Lynn. Now we have another fight, and that's his big old glove that he fires. The mock chop, which, supposedly. And then they just leave him. They don't make sure he's dead or anything. He gets up and gets in his car and flies off. Now, I did think this was, powder, but you can see it's water. Actually, they're using steam or something to make it take off and lift, which is a little unusual. But the Joker is equipped with bombs because they're shooting artillery at him. So he just drops bombs, big bombs. He's beating up the henchmen, and he gives himself up to let the kids go away. And should have told him to go get the Joker so they'd be safe at least. But the blimp is launched. There's our villain and Lynn, and they've captured him, and he's all tied up. So we see a lot of these. This is not the best Matt scene, sorry. But since Lynn didn't kill him, she turns on him, returns and releases him. Karate Man karate chops her, gives her the dim mok, the death touch, which is Chinese kung fu, of course, not karate, but it works. And she's an android. Her head falls off. So she's a very sophisticated android. I mean, she probably came from Professor Gill. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Now they're going to assassinate these people. Fortunately, Kay shows up and Pops takes over. They beat everyone up, and Shinjo just mows the bad agents down. So I read somewhere they were supposed to be cyborgs, but it seems like they're pretty human here to get killed by just standard guns. And the bad guy, Zero Man, throws the controller into the water, but the base blows up. Kay gets up there, has his final battle, and there it is. So that tells you where it's flying. He jumps, yeah, there it is. And he makes the mock chop return and then blasts him with the destruction gun. That blows up. And I'm pretty sure these are actors I should know, like from Go Ranger or something from that time frame. This would have been into early September of '73, so maybe late August. But but I think that's just kind of a funny thing. Somebody, if they know who that is, let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Kay disarms the bomb. Mother's happy. We're not sure, but everyone else is happy, saying goodbye in the water. No time to relax. So there you go. Those are the four four episodes. I thought it moved along pretty well. Like I said, we'll do 3 next week and 3 the following to split it up evenly. So that'll be a little shorter episodes. And that has been our 4 episodes. Tomorrow we have a movie with a lot of great music in it, and I'm not kidding. And I haven't seen it, so watching it again I haven't seen it in a while, probably 2 decades. And having said all that, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
5万ボルトの電流が人間を焼き殺す魔導ロボット電熱マンの仕業か、捜査に乗り出すロボット刑事たち。一方、魔導のミサイル隊はマザーに向けてミサイルを発射した。次回ロボット刑事恐怖電熱マンマザー爆沈をご期待ください。